Oh, hello and welcome back, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. In today's episode, what we're going to be doing is destroying this 1816 with the Caro Kann, and so hopefully we hop right into a main line that I can explain to you quite well, where we have the advance, the exchange. Often when people spend a while thinking about it, they go for the push, or we go for the straight up main line. This is actually called the Caro Kann main line. This is the Alien Gambit, but this is the Tart to Cower. So this is a structure that I am very familiar with and I love, and I can explain to you the ins and outs of what to do, at least with the black pieces. So right now that he has developed the knight, it is a prime opportunity to pin the knight. However, castling before pinning pieces is the priority. So what we're going to do is we're going to develop this bishop to the most, not the most active square. This would be the most active square, but it would get simply repelled by this pawn. So that's why we're putting it here. Next, we're going to castle and be putting the rook onto the same file as the king. Most likely he will castle as well. But we're still going to put the rook here because this is the open file in the position, and rooks belong on open files. And so this move right here it signifies that he wants to strengthen the center, which is never a bad move. He's defending the pawn, but in the future my knight is going to have a journey to the square that can be repelled by this pawn. Does that make sense? So my knight in the future is going to go like this, and we're playing with 3-second increment, and I am quite comfortable with my rapid playing skills, or my bullet playing skills. Speaking of that, let's check our friend from Argentina, and if you look, if we take a gander, we step back, and we're really praying for the pawn cube structure is what we're going for. But dude doesn't play bullet, and we are in a 5-minute game of chess. So at some point, we're both going to have 1 minute, unless I get checkmated very early on. And it looks like he plays a lot of variants, some anti-chess stuff going on. I would highly recommend never playing any of those ever, because chess is hard enough as it is. So there's no need to change the rules and play a harder, different variant. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you, other than chess 960, go ahead and play that, and then maybe some horde just for fun. But I have had this exact structure in a previous game, maybe even my previous video. And so bringing the knight back here to be a defensive piece is not such a terrible idea, but I really do like my prompt idea of just trying to bring my knight to one of these squares in the middle. Obviously we can't bring it here right now. The drawback of this is my queen can no longer get out to this square, but seeing as that he pushed his pawn, so this pawn is now defended, my queen out here attacking pawns that are defended is not really a great use of my queen. We're going to step in, and we're doing a few things now. We're attacking this pawn and we're attacking this bishop. So he kind of has to make a stepping back move, or he has to just attack me, then I take, and he gets a strong center, but he loses the bishop for the knight, and actually he can't do that because I will grab the pawn. So right now I think he has to step back, and that's just kind of uncomfortable. I can take a step forward right now and kind of, I could jump like this. This might force, because we're attacking this and we're attacking this bishop. He could step back further, but then we're really causing, my knight is making both of his bishops step back, and I just feel, sorry, you see that rattling? I'm on a new desk, and it's a $20 desk from Amazon, so it kind of sucks, but I'm in a temporary home for like 3 months because the house that I live in is getting renovated, if you wanted to know what's going on in my life. So I'm moving houses, I started a new job, I don't have a girlfriend. Look at this sunburn, absolutely jacked, but this sunburn, I'm in a little swivel chair. Bro, this sunburn, you see that? It looks, that's the tank top. That is the tank top that I was wearing previously. And so, what's going on in this position right now? Well, this is being attacked. If we take, the queen comes up and defends the knight, or I can step forward and just straight up attack the knight. Also, I don't like that my queen is the one defending this rook. Also, there are sort of, no, it doesn't work. I was thinking I could take here with check, and if he steps over with the queen, then this is hanging, but he can just step back with the knight, but is making his knight step back. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I like the idea of just attacking the knight. Probably what's going to happen is we're going to get the pawn cube structure, and then we can all cheer and feel happy and warm and fuzzy on the inside because we get to have a pawn cube in the position. And now I like that my rooks are looking at each other. So if this rook trade takes place, then my least active piece all of a sudden will get nice and active here on the E8 square, looking down the open file. So probably it's in both of our best interest to kind of just leave the position as is. If he takes, I actually played a quite interesting structure earlier where his queen ended up over here on b3, which was applying pressure to my f2, f7. Okay, so we're going to get the little pawn cube, and we all get to feel happy and warm and fuzzy. Look at that. Pawn cube. Queen attacked. Queen attacked. But I can trade the rooks in a way that makes his knight step back. Then I can get active. So I think we're going to go for this. It doesn't immediately do anything, but having, but having like my queen on these diagonals seems promising. I believe that we can just step forward. I mean, if he hits us, we can step forward again. So we're just trying to get super active with the queen right now. We got the diagonal by his king, and I have this beautiful pawn cube. Look how safe and happy my king is. Not only do I have a luft, but it becomes increasingly difficult for our opponent to like do any action on this open file because I have so many squares defended by my pawns, my beautiful pawn cube. Okay, bishop is attacked. Stepping all the way back to like stay active on this diagonal seems to make sense. I could also rush. Let's play a little bit faster. Actually, I don't really need to play faster because we have the same amount of time. And it's early in the morning because this guy's from Argentina. Is it? No, I'm thinking about the seasons. I've been to Argentina before, and one really trippy thing is, what do I do with my queen? I would love to like stay active, but it looks like I'm going to have to take a little bit of a step back. I can't step over because of the knight. I can't step forward because of the knight. I can't step forward because of the queen. So this maintains touching this. So he could push and I take, and he takes and I take, and he gets a pawn there, but then I attack it, then he defends it. I can throw in this check. He probably steps over. And my king is actually quite far away from being able to do any damage. This doesn't work because the rook comes over. But I step over, the rook comes over. I step here. He takes with check, I step up. Then he just defends checkmate by moving anywhere, and it's not even checkmate, he can still run away. So I like the idea of just stepping over and attacking in this square. He can defend it by just moving the knight somewhere, so that now that this was never occupied, but moving the knight would make sense to just defend this with the queen laterally and have like a defensive, beautiful queen. But I'm going to play on my opponent's weakness because now we both have under 3 minutes, soon to be under 2 minutes, and we still have queens and rooks and bishops and knights and a whole heckin' lot of pawns. So I sure hope that he knows what he's doing in these little bit of a time crunch situation. If nothing happens, I'm ready to just step into the position and attack these pawns. That is the immediate idea. Like, I'm threatening this, yes. But if he doesn't move the knight, his queen can't occupy the square, and defending these pawns will become tricky. So moving this walks into this check. But he defends it with the queen, then I take, then he steps back, then I bring my rook to the open file. He steps up with the king. Probably I attack this pawn. He could just push. I take. No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. There would be a check at the end of all of that. Okay, so he does play this. I think everything that I just calculated seems to make sense. I step in. He steps over. I take. He takes with the king or the knight. Either way, I'm attacking this pawn. He could shut the door like this, but then we're not so worried about this pawn structure. So I think we're going with this. He has to cover. He has to cover. Then I step over. What do? I think time is everything, and stepping active into the position seems to be real smart. Attacking the knight, if he takes, I step in. He could just attack and defend. I can bring my queen back to attack the knight. Here, I step over. I think just activating my least active piece makes the most amount of sense here. Like, the queen is defended, so I'm not super worried about my my bishop getting dislodged. My rook is undefended, my bishop is undefended. I mean, but so is his rook and his knight, so Who is really winning? I'm winning because I play more bullet. Look at my bullet score. Look at his bullet score. The sooner you realize that every game of chess most likely turns into a game of bullet. I mean, okay, why did I even think about that? Obviously, I have to take this piece. Now, activity is everything. I can also step back. Then he's got to do something. What's he going to do? I step back and attack the knight. If he defends, okay, so this, he has to go back somewhere. And whatever he does, I think I just get active. So we're going to step over here, attack the knight. We have two things attacking it. I could have just taken and let him take in, and then been super active with my rook and really happy. But I think he could have just pushed a pawn and stepped over and kicked me out of the position, is the reason we're not going for that. But right now, if he goes for this, we hit him with a very simple fork, which is just losing on the spot. If he steps over here, we still hit him with that same fork, and he has to step back over here. And then, I mean, I think it just gets spicy. Really what we're trying to do is make this young man step back with the knight with 37 clocks. The clock turns red. And we have to play this. I mean, there's just no other move that I feel like playing. Okay, that doesn't work. None of this cool stuff works. We're definitely applying pressure. I would love to be able to attack this pawn. How can we do that? I mean, if I go here, he just takes and I take. Then we're attacking this. He steps up and defends it. I give him a check. He steps in, defending everything. What if I just start bringing the king? He's kind of frozen. He can't move the knight literally anywhere. I can step forward like this. If I take like this and he takes, then I'm forking these two pieces. We're attacking this. He has to take. Now we're getting in this low time, but I'm attacking this and this. And the open file is covered by my king, so if his rook comes over, sometimes you just got to know when to trade into a winning endgame. And my rook is active. Okay, so we're going to have to grab this pawn. He's going to step up, but then we're going to reoccupy this open file. Maybe I should have attacked this pawn. That actually probably would have made a lot more sense. But his rook is stuck, passive. We can do a few different things here. We can go here and force this and get behind it. I like this. If he steps forward, I mean, I grab it. So he's kind of got to push, right? And then I take. Okay, he wants to play like this. Probably time to get active with the king. I am winning in this endgame. Okay, he wants to attack my rook. There's nowhere else to put it, so I'm just going to put it here. This is going to happen, but we're chilling. We take. Take. I like this. If he pushes a check, we step back, and we're going to be able to attack this pawn again. But we're really stepping forward is the idea, and he doesn't have the greatest way to bring his king to defend this pawn, and now this pawn, I promise you, is not making it to the promised land. So that undefended the pawn. He wants to go for this check, but we're going to defend with the rook to defend this pawn. If he trades, he loses, so he's pretty much got to skedaddle out of the position. That's all there is to it. And oh by golly, I might give this check. He steps in, I can grab this pawn. He gives this check. How many pawns do you really need? Grab, check, here. I shouldn't have spent that much time thinking about it. He can give this check, but I step up, and then he does not have another check, and I'm defending this. Okay, he does have that check. We're stepping here. We're going to be alright. Don't worry about it. We're stepping forward. Grabbing this. Grab some pawns, bro. Simplify up this endgame for me. We're going to just grab this. You grab that. I'm going to push this. You can grab this. Here. Here, here, here. Jesus. We push the pass pawn, right? We just let him grab this. God damn it. push this. Grab this. We push this. We go here. Oh my god, now he starts pushing this. We step up. We step here. Here, here, here. I'm not really sure, bro. He's gonna cover this. I so threw this away to a draw, by the way. But I think I'm doing alright. He put his king in the way of that. It gave me time. I'm gonna try and wiggle like this. Because if I can get my king here, I push. Here, here. I think he just blundered the game right here. He gave me too much time. So I was completely winning, but I think he was a little bit frazzled. You can give this check, but I step up, and then you're out of checks. So we're gonna make this queen. Give this check. You can push this pawn, but then it is checkmate, my friend. Heavy sigh of relief. I almost threw that away to a draw. I'm actually fairly certain that maybe I did. How did I lose like 5 pawns so that I could grab however many? So right here, 6 pawns versus 4. So how did I trade down into an equal pawn endgame? Your answer is as good as mine. I guess I'm not that good at chess, but I won the game, so I guess we had it under control. I'm fairly certain that it was a draw. We trade off his last pawn here. We give a check and he steps forward, and we start pushing, or just go for this. And then I'm the only one left with a pawn, but actually stopping it becomes hard because your king is so far away. So I think just forcing this move right here wins on the spot. Or draws on the spot. Impossible for me to say. I'm not that good at chess. Let's check it out with the computer real quick, and I will see you over there. And here we are in the analysis, and that was not my most accurate game of chess that I've ever played, but oh boy did we get her done. And so check out this graph. Now, I just want to highlight something for you, you fine ladies and gentlemen, is the opening. Completely equal the entire time. The middle game, a little bit of action happened, but literally everything that was important happened in the end game, and all the way down here. Check it out. I have 3 blunders. Look where they happened in the end game. My opponent, 2 blunders. Look where they happened. All the way down here on move 64, I threw it away to a draw. And that is why in the video I was definitely stressing out, because I had a crushing position, and then I threw it away to a draw, and I knew it, and that was my face trying to process that information, that I'm crushing, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a draw, and I'm fighting not to lose my pawn. And so that's what happened. So we played the Caro-Kann mainline variation. When they capture like this and you take it back with the pawn, it's called the Tartakower variation, where your ideas of development are quite simple, and I will explain them to you. You develop the bishop here because it's the most active square. You don't want to block your king in this way, and if you go here, you just get hit. Next, you want a castle. Get your king safe. Next, you put your rook on the open file in the position. Then, you either pin the knight or put your bishop here. It's kind of interchangeable. This move is actually better, but if you want to slightly deviate from the main line, you play this move, pinning the knight. And it's not really pinned because, yes, there's a bishop there. Then, what you need to do is, for one, we get attacked, so we're just going to step back, no problem. And we want to complete the prophecy of the knight zigzag to the center of the board, where you can make 1, 2, 3 moves to get to the center of the board, and he can make 1 pawn move to kick you out of it. So it really kind of sucks. And once your knight is here, you can't jump back here, or when the pawn comes in to attack it, because you can just push this pawn and fork your 2 pieces here. So once your knight gets here and this pawn push comes in, it gets a little bit annoying with your knight. You have to like step back to one of these squares, and it's not so great, but you want your knight in the middle of the board. So let's not go into too much detail about all of this. And by golly, we got my knight to the middle of the board by way of zigzag. And so now my knight is actually doing some stuff. We're attacking this pawn, we're attacking the bishop. You can't just kick me out because I'll take, and I'll grab this pawn. So you have to step back with the bishop. So my knight made you step back. Now here, I miss kind of a more or less simple tactic. I can come over here with the simple idea of attacking this rook, and the rook has no squares that he can go to that are not being attacked. Furthermore, if my bishop gets here, I'm attacking this pawn twice. So I could get in, take, and then get in with this fork. So this obscure bishop move is actually the best move for an idea that I just simply did not see. In lieu of that, I step over here with my knight, where I am essentially guaranteeing you trading a knight for... I'm trading a knight for your bishop. If you take like this, then that's what I want. Or you leave this guy here, and I just simply take your bishop, or you step back. So I'm either getting a bishop for my knight, or making another bishop take a stepping back move. And I already made this one step back, so if this one also steps back, I feel like my knight is just a little bit OP. So he takes, I take. Mission accomplished. I got rid of my knight for a light square bishop. I have the bishop pair. I feel quite comfortable about the position. We take this time to get active with my queen, trade, and now we got a beautiful pawn cube, so everybody smile and feel nice and warm and cozy inside because we got the pawn cube, and mission accomplished. He attacks my queen, but I throw in this check because it yet again makes one of his pieces step back. He can't take with the queen or I'll win the knight. So he has to step back with the knight. That is why I did that move, and yet again the knight steps back. All of his pieces are stepping back in this game. But now, I guess it's my turn to step back because he attacks my bishop, kaboom, so I step back. Then he attacks my queen. I step back. He takes a little step forward, and I come over here with nasty ideas of this check that is covered because the knight is blocking the view of his queen to this square. And if I get in with this check, I'm winning this pawn. The king gets very weak. It's just, you're falling apart. You can't let that happen. It is a -2 position, and I get the check. He steps over. I bring my last undeveloped piece. Now my rook is active. He takes, I take, and then I step back attacking this guy. You can't really defend it in any meaningful way. Stepping over is a terrible idea. So you essentially have to move the knight. Well, you can't go forward, really. None of your going forward squares work. Let's look at that. If you go here, you walk into this fork, so you just lose the knight. So yet again, the knight has to step back. Oh my goodness. And with tempo, you step back and I step in. Now I'm in your position, bro. Checking on your king. Now, turn the engine on. I want to show you guys. I wasn't cheating, I promise. Best move in the position. Stepping over with the king. Because I want my rook to do some damage, and we're afraid of his rook getting to the open file and getting into the position. If this happens, if that check happens, and I step up over here and he gets this, he's basically just going to eat all of my pawns. And so that is why stepping over with the king is the best move. He pushes the pawn on the side of the board so that he can do something with the rook, so his rook doesn't have to stay passive defending this. I guess, yes, I could have just gotten behind this pawn, and that would have worked just as well. But now I trade the bishop for the knight for the specific reason of after he takes, I'm guaranteed to win a pawn. I'm attacking 2 pawns. You can only defend 1, and pushing them doesn't work because I'll just take the pawns behind them. Not this one because it's defended, but you get the idea. So I grab a pawn, back to the open file. I got scared of taking this pawn because I didn't want his rook to get in. It never would have happened because all of the squares are taken and attacked by my pieces, but it is what it is. I step out. Sorry, my nose is super itchy. There's cats in this house, and I guess I'm allergic to cats. So, sorry about that. Now, he's got a passed pawn, but it's not a good passed pawn. It's a liability passed pawn because it's right next to 2 pieces that want to kill it. So, I'm very quick to just grab that pawn. Right now, it's a check. It looks like if I step up, I'm going to lose something, but I can just defend X-ray style with my rook. He steps up. I hit him with a check. I grab a pawn. He comes in with a check. Check. I'm stepping up. I grab a pawn. He grabs a pawn. I grab a pawn. He grabs a pawn. I push a pawn. He grabs a pawn. And this is the most important part of the position. What I needed to play was check down, another X-ray check where I'm defending my pawn through the king. Then my passed pawn becomes an issue because this passed pawn can no longer push, plus your king is really far away, plus this pawn can't push because I have pawns in the way of it. Instead, the way I did it is I lose both of my pawns for no reason, and now it's just passed pawn versus passed pawn. Yes, mine is closer, but still it doesn't really matter because he's never going to make it because I just don't have enough stuff to watch this pawn and my king. If my king ever gets to these squares to support the promotion square, you can just check me, and I'm either stepping in the way of the pawn or away from the pawn where you'll just attack it again. And so none of it's going to ever work. But like I said, I'm on the comfortable side of the draw, where our opponent is on the scary and hard to play side of the draw because he's been losing for the past 40 moves, and all of a sudden 64 moves and 51 moves. Sorry, I can't get anything right. And so we shuffle around, and I hide here so that this check isn't an option. I'm hiding behind the enemy's king, and then I have a new idea. Put my rook here so I can bring my king behind the rook. It still doesn't even work because um, it works here because I can just straight up promote and make a queen, and there's no check here. I would just take the rook. This doesn't work because once I make the queen, he can hit me with a check. I step out. He wins the queen. I'll show you. Boom, 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 boom. And then straight up, this rook is just not stopping this pawn. I'm trading this rook for this pawn at some point, and that's all there is to it. Um, but this idea kind of makes sense. Hiding here so this check doesn't happen. I like the idea. You know, it's not the worst idea in the world. But here we give a check. He defends it with a pawn, but unfortunately that is being attacked by the two most powerful pieces on the board, and it's mate one. So take it with a grain of salt or whatever. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure playing chess for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.